It's CrafTea Cat, and today I'm going to be doing a squishy makeover video. I've been seeing this video float around the internet for quite some time, so I just wanted to try it out. The first person I saw do this was Mariah Elizabeth. She is so good at doing squishy makeovers. I absolutely love every single one of her videos. I watched every single one of her videos and absolutely love them, but you have no idea how much work it is to edit, film, make these videos unless you've tried it. So mad props to Mariah Elizabeth and everyone else who does these kind of videos. This video took me so long to edit, film. It took me like 2 weeks, which is like the longest I've ever worked on a video for. So I hope you guys liked it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and let's just get into it. So the 4 victims for this video are this beautiful strawberry cake squishy. The next one is a jumbo peach, which I'm so excited to redecorate. And then we have I think it's dragon fruit. Correct me if I'm wrong. And lastly, we have this cute bread squishy, which is like not in bad shape, but it was actually my first squishy that I ever got, so it's kind of special to me, and I'm kind of sad that I'm redecorating it. Now it's that time in the video for squishy roasting. So for the first squishy on the chopping board, we have this peach squishy. Now on first glance, it looks fine, but then you realize there's this giant crack in the middle, which is kind of ironic because it is supposed to look like a butt, but now there's actually a butt crack. It is a huge problem when you're trying to squish it, but of course, then there are just like small rips like all over the top. There's this hole on the bottom. What are my nails? Yeah, I'm sorry about my nails. They're horrible. This giant crack happened when I gave this squishy to my brother. So, yeah, that was not me. The next squishy on the chopping board, you know, I kind of like that word. Chopping board, squishy, whatever, is this dragon fruit squishy. Now, this looks like fine, and it is in great condition because, like, I got this right at the end of me liking squishies. You know, like, I still like them, obviously, but... So, yeah, it's in great condition, but the stem... Is that a stem? It, like, completely broke off because I'm pretty sure one of my siblings, like, ripped it off, you know. All this trauma is from my siblings. When I saw that it was ripped off, I realized that there was glitter on the inside. Is there glitter on the inside of every squishy? Because, like, that is pretty cool. The next squishy on the chopping block, you know, I don't think I'm chopping this one. Actually, I like kind of don't want to chop this one. And that is when I decided that I did not want to chop this squishy, so I don't even know why I kept this in the video, but you know, I did. So the last squishy on the chopping block is this strawberry cake squishy. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this. It is a disaster. All of the whipped cream dollops are about to fall off. Some of them are like hanging in there, you know. All of these strawberries have been ruthlessly ripped off. It is so dirty, rips, cracks everywhere. But it is the softest squishy I own. It is so soft, so squishy, but just like it desperately needs a makeover. What is that? Anyway, I just laid down a piece of paper so I didn't get fabric paint on my table. The first squishy that we are going to be starting out with is this peach squishy, and I'm just taking the Scribbles Pop fabric paint. This is just like one that I have a lot of and I don't use that often, and I'm gonna be using this as glue. And I know that you're like supposed to use like fabric glue, But I didn't have fabric glue, so I just used puffy paint that I like didn't use that often, and I just put that in there. Used a trusty popsicle stick. If you watch Mariah Elizabeth's videos, you'll know why you use a popsicle stick instead of like a paintbrush. But I just smeared it all in there. That looks really nasty, you know? It's like regular boo boo boo, and then pow! It's blue in the butt. I don't have rubber bands. I don't know why. Like, they're the most common household like thing, but I don't have any. So I just took a piece of ribbon and tied it around. Yeah, that'll do. So next thing I'm gonna I sound so sick. Anyway, so the next thing that I'm going to be doing is filling in any of the cracks that were in the top, and it looks like this. Next, I am taking the same blue Scribbles paint. What I'm starting to do is just picking up like the whipped cream dollops and filling the underside of them up and trying to glue them down, as you can see in this clip. Next, I'm just putting it on the top, and it's kind of like icing a cake with this squishy. And I'm just using my trusty popsicle stick to smooth out all of the indents that were on the top of the cake. Okay, so next I have this dragon fruit, which lost its top. So again, I'm just taking the same fabric paint, using it as glue, and then popping on the top. And then I let it dry overnight. Oh, it's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new life for me. Oh yeah. What is that? Just a sign to make sure no one touched my wet squishies. Okay, so the first one that we're gonna be working on is this blue cake now, and I'm just checking if it's dry. Ah! What? Oh my gosh. Oh, well, this one's still wet, so I can't work on this one today. After they dried and I had like attached them and everything, they stuck together. If you can see on the stem, one side is like sticking to, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it stuck to the other part of the squishy and it ripped when I tried to take it off. So later I actually had to put another layer of paint over all of the rips and cracks that were there. As you can see right here and on the other side of the squishy, there were big chunks taken out, which is really annoying because I had to wait another day for it to dry. But don't do what I do. Don't stick your rubber bands on the actual paint, or like make sure that the paint isn't securing two parts of the squishy together. But at least the butt crack is fixed, you know, that's a plus. Okay, so after I had waited over a day to let all the blue paint dry, I am finally starting to paint the peach squishy. Now, I decided to paint this squishy rainbow because, you know, why not? But I didn't have any yellow or orange paint at the moment, so I just left that out of the rainbow. So, like, it wasn't really a rainbow, but, you know, it was my rainbow. So I just took a ton of different colors of paint and rubbed it on with a popsicle stick. It ended up being, like, really, like, straight lines. I'm going to blend it out later. But this was just the first coat to make sure that it was like covered. It was going all well, you know, just smoothing out the colors, making sure they looked all good. And then I smeared it with my plastic bag that I was using to cover my hand. Great. Wow. Amazing. So I had to completely cover that up to make sure that it was nice and blended. But once it was all painted, it looked like this. It looked so cool. A little bit messy, but you know, it was the first coat and everything. Okay, so the next squishy I'm working on is this cake squishy, and I decided to paint this with this really pretty like tealish color. It's a really pretty color. The only thing is that when it dries pretty sheer.
as you can see. So I had to do a ton of coats. What am I saying? This is what it looked like after the second coat. Okay, so now I'm going to be starting on the second layer of the peach, which I let dry on this piece of paper, but when I came back to it, it stuck to the paper and started to rip the squishy apart. So I just left it, and then I dipped my finger in the paint, which apparently was still wet, even though I let it dry overnight. There's also this bite mark that my little sister had done, so that is gonna have to get covered up. So we're definitely needing a second coat on this squishy. I just started repainting it. I just put on the dark pink paint, light pink paint, just repeated it, you know that stuff. This step, I was just trying to smooth out the paint, make sure that the lines were all crisp and all that kind of stuff. Just making sure it looked better than the first coat. And again, I'm not worrying about blending it because I'm going to be doing that later. As you can see, I was doing the blue here, the lighter blue, and then I had to do the purple, and so I made this little, like, stand to paint, which I felt like it was gonna fall over the whole time, but I needed somewhere to put it so it wouldn't, like, touch the top and get stuck to paper I showed you earlier, but this was just so scary because I was terrified that it was gonna fall. I want to document how beautiful it looks right now because I'm scared that it's going to knock over at any moment. Okay, so next, once I let that second layer dry, I took this metallic green paint, which honestly is so pretty. I love it. And I just started painting that all over the top of the squishy, or the leaves, until they were all covered, and actually I only had to do one coat. Pause! I'm gonna do a quick Michaels haul. So I needed to get more fabric paint for painting squishies, so the first thing that I got was this package of iridescent, almost like galaxy colors. There were so many cute colors. The dark black one was called Galaxy, the purple one was called Unicorn, pink was called Lovely, white was called Cloud, blue was called Mermaid, and then the other blue one was called Ocean. Next, I got this white metallic paint from Tulip. I got some slick paint from Tulip in white, and then I got some slicked paint from Tulip in deep red. And lastly, I got this new thing. The brand is Imagine 8. They had this at Michaels, and I was just like kind of confused, but they only had this kind in brown, so I was just like, okay, I'll get this one then and try it out. Okay, back to painting squishies. Okay, so I'm starting to blend the colors together with a paintbrush. This is the AOA Studio paintbrush, and if you're wondering why I'm using a makeup brush, it's honestly because I don't have a paintbrush that I can use. But what I'm doing is just taking my makeup brush to make little strokes back and forth to try to blend the color. Now, honestly, I did not do a great job at this. It's really difficult. I would actually suggest blending the color, not like blending them, but when they're still wet, like when you're doing the first coat, to like kind of blend them. Don't smooth the edges as much as I did, just because it was kind of hard to make it look like it was blended like that in the first place. But this is what it looked like when I was done blending it. Okay, now for the cake, I just took this slick white paint from Tulip, did the first coat on the top of it, and then I did a second coat on the rest of the white paint that needed to get a second coat. Okay, this is where it gets super interesting, because instead of just keeping the peach normal, it's gonna be metallic. And you guys probably didn't see this coming. While I was mixing in the paint, this happened.
She just like squirts it out, and there's that. Comma
My
who?
2 blocks.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, I'm gonna be painting the peach metallic. So what I did was just pour some of the white metallic paint onto my little painting tray. And then I just used all the colors that I had already used for the peach. And I just mixed those in and then applied them to the peach.
Need some milk.
He needs some milk.
What was that? I don't really know. But if you can tell in this clip, there was like an air bubble. So I just took my scissors and cut it. And then I actually cut a bigger hole. And then I went in there and filed and then put some paint to make it stick, if that makes any sense. And then I basically just applied it to the peach. Next, I'm going to be doing the dragon fruit. And I had been putting off doing this one just because, I don't know, I felt like it was the most boring one. But if you could tell, it was really smooth, so I had to take a piece of sandpaper and just sand that all over. And this is really sad. If you could look at the background, there's so much dust, like squishy dust in the back. It made me sad to do this, but you need to do it to make sure the paint sticks on. And then I just started painting with this green paint. I am actually going to do a second coat with a more realistic green paint. I just didn't have enough of that paint to do 2 coats, so I decided to use this one, then the other one.
Okay, so the second last step for the peach is just, I poured some of the metallic, just plain metallic paint on the peach. And then I took a paintbrush, it was actually a makeup brush, and I just brushed that on. And this gave it a super, super nice shine, as you can see here. But the peach was super hard and it like wouldn't squish because it had so much air in it from the paint. So I just took a pin and started stabbing it. And it didn't really work in the first place, so I just had to like vigorously stab it. Yeah, this is some crazy stuff here. I just stabbed it, and this is a time lapse of how long it took for it to expand. It took so long, but finally once I stabbed it enough times, it was not as slow rising, which is what I wanted. Going back to the dragon fruit, I took this same red Scribbles fabric paint, or puffy paint, whatever it's called, and I just squirted this on the peach on one side so it could dry on the other side. And then when it did dry overnight, I took the red fabric paint again and I coated the other side with it. Okay, so the last step for the cake squishy was just to neaten up the lines. So I just took my white fabric paint, went around, checked if there were any spots that needed to get covered up, and that was it. Now for the before and afters, what you've all been waiting for. Wow, cool, crazy, yay, what? Okay, anyway, this is the before and after of the metallic peach. Well, before it wasn't metallic, but anyway, it is so pretty. Yes, this was the one that was in the thumbnail. So gorgeous. It was so slow rising, so much more slow rising than the original one. I absolutely loved it. It had a huge rip in it before, now it doesn't. It's so metallic and beautiful. It looks like a unicorn. Absolutely love it. So slow rising, as I already said. It's actually a little too slow rising for my taste, but you know. But to see the real metallic beauty, you have to go outside. So I took some clips outside and just look. Just admire, just for 1 second, how beautiful this is. Like, look at how pearlescent that is. It looks like unicorn turd that just fell out of a unicorn's butt. It is so beautiful. I'm speechless. It's just gorgeous, and it's way better than what it was like before. Now for the strawberry cake squishy reveal. Oh my goodness, this looks so much better than before. Like, there is like no comparing this, really. Like, it's just
It's just like a whole brand new squishy. It's not too much different than the original. There aren't those like holes that were on the top from the strawberries that used to be on there. The dollops of whipped cream on the top aren't falling off. It's just so much cleaner, and the color is just beautiful. I just love it. Mwah, so pretty. Now lastly, for the most dramatic change squishy of the entire video, the dragon fruit squishy reveal. No, I'm just kidding. This was not dramatic at all. It looks pretty much the exact same as the original one, which is what I was going for, so you know, at least I succeeded in that. But a plus to this squishy from before is that the top doesn't come off when you squish it. You know, that's always a good sign. It is the same amount of slow risingness, is that a word? I'm not really sure, as before. It is like super shiny now, super pretty. I just love it. Love the colors, even though they're like pretty much the same as before. I just neatened it up. I think it looks so good. Even though it doesn't look that dramatic from the original one, I think it still looks like 1,000 times better. And I really hope you guys liked it. Okay, so that's it for this ridiculously long video. Like 20 minutes? What? Over 20 minutes? What? That is insane. I hope you guys loved this video just as much as I did, because I worked, as I said in the beginning, so hard on this video. If you got to the end of the video, comment down below what your favorite squishy from this video was. I can't really choose. I like all of them, mainly because I worked so hard on all of them. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, because I would really like that. And subscribe down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!